gamers. It's time for a special late night edition of Game Dev. I've decided to make it kind of like the ambiance a little bit better. Trying not to do it a little too bad. I'm not trying to cast too many shadows. I mean, if that's for here, he would kick my ass with this lighting. But let me share my Twitch real quickly. Because we have some work to do. We have 18 days until our senior capstone is due, give or take. So that means we have quite a lot of things to do, and not that much time. So the idea today, or tonight, this morning, any way you want to swing that, the plan tonight is to sort of get a good UI implementation done so that we can maybe get good UI rendered. I'm GUI's not cutting it anymore. We want good styling, and it's aesthetic things. So I have some things on this list that I could also go towards if I feel that UI progress is slow and not worth my time for these few short hours that I'll be working on things. But I'm gonna go ahead and push my stream, get it going. Let me plug that there. And then should be good, I think. So, okay. Well, I think there's a lot we can do. I just know that there's very little time to do this. So, I'm trying to squeeze in as many hours of things as I can. I probably can stream until 3-ish, 3:30-ish. And then I gotta get to bed because I have class. But we have time. So, I think we can maybe start prototyping a inventory UI. Though that's where I left off last time. That's not my terminal UI. Where's my terminal UI? But where I left off last time was quite a fascinating thing. Ooh, I like the ambiance. There we go. So where I left off last time, let me go ahead and decrease this. I kind of got a lot of things working. I got this test item rendering. So it's a big thing because this test item is sort of we were trying to see if we could get an item registry working, and we did. We got an item registry working really well, which is a great sign for all cases, because that means that implementing items is not going to be a pain. The behaviors are going to be something I have to kind of look at, but we have that rendered. And so in this case, I think we need to start rendering set this up really quickly. There we go. Got to clean up my desk really quickly, so I'm a little more have some linear have some nice art here. I say art. It was it's actually theoretical foundations of computing, which is not fun. But we're going to go ahead and just get rid of this test item and actually try to render a UI. So if I open up Resprite really quickly, web, I gotta find it because I need to design something kind of simple that we can just render on the screen. Now, my ideal solution is that we have a scalable UI, but I was sort of there was a good argument that was brought up to me recently, such that it made me think about redesigning how I work, how I do things, right? Because we have this character that, you know, and all these things. I was also working on my code editor window. I go up here now, or go down to one of these terminals up down here. Press F. We have this nice little code window now that can actually do things, but it's sort of messed up a little bit. It kind of crashes. You see, it crashes sometimes. I think it's a pointer issue. Yeah, it's like seg faulting, which is fine. I get that. So I'm not sure how it's seg faulting or why it's seg faulting entirely. Why, at least, but it's something we'll have to address later. I don't really have room to want to look into that right now. I'd rather just open up my Libri Sprite and kind of start drawing out a few things that I think would be useful for our game. It is such a weird predicament to be in. I sort of have compressed a lot of this time that I need for activities into a very small window, which it's fine. See if this will, there you go. So this is the test item I built, which is awesome. It's a cool little test item. God, this UI is so cool. Now that I'm like doing UI stuff, it's making me really think about how people implement theirs and just all of the cool things here and how fluid stuff is. But got this little test item, which is nice and cool. And what we can do now is just take this, I guess we could just call it a thumbnail, I guess. And when we have a UI, so the UI would, in this case, will be if we did like a sprite sheet of 256 by 256 or something like that. We could do something like, if I can get a line here. Where is my line tool? Here it is. So we could do something cool and dandy. Let me make that thicker. I'll set to 4 pixels. That's not 4. That's actually 14. 4. Thank you. There we go. So what we do basically is we make this, like we make in my mind. Here's what I sort of have mapped. I have a diamond shape in my mind. There's a quite. It's not a very uncommon inventory implementation thing. I've just never. I mean, so the idea is that you have this diamond, and in this diamond you have items in here. So item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So that's the idea, is you have items in here. I can't brush now. The items are in here, and then you just go ahead and render those as necessary. Now, I'm torn between wanting to make it a static asset and wanting to make it a layout-based item. I've been thinking about how a bunch of games implement their UI systems. Notably, Minecraft has a static image that they use for their hotbar, right? So you have this static image as something, and I think Minecraft's always the go-to because it's just something that is very iconic and it's people kind of know about it. Not the most obvious. Well, not the worst idea, but so I do something like this. But like the idea is like something like this, right? So like they draw out all the slots and then they just render this and scale it. I think based on the on the size of the window. So I could like, because the height of this would be some if I draw this like a red or something. The idea would be that this is some height, what we'll call y, right? So it has a height y. Maybe do it better. Cool. So it has some height y, which is good because just so okay, it doesn't have a, what's the line? That works actually. So you have some line height y, and y will be scaled based on, so if we have a full window of something like this, the window size, we want to be 10% of that. I think the idea would be we clamp it between the smallest height of this or scale it up. Now I don't know how that exactly is going to work in the long term. It's not something that I'm like familiar with, but these are all new things to me, and like these are mostly solved problems in game dev, but approaching them from a new perspective, as a prospective software engineer, computer scientist, whatever you want to say. There's definitely a semantic difference between those two, but but approached it from this lens is very interesting to me. From the perspective that there are so many resources I could access for this, but I kind of I like the idea of feeling out what's best, but doing so in a timely manner, because again, we have less than 18 days to really finish this, so I have to really get on top of it. Now, I guess I can just draw some example images and things. So, there's this thing called 9 slicing that I was thinking about doing. And if you're not familiar with 9 slicing, 9 slicing is this idea that you're given a sprite, or you're given some kind of image. Let's say that we have this test item. I'm just going to copy this over here. So let's say that you have this test item, but you want it to be sort of expandable. So if you, in the ideal world, you're able to take this left side and separate it, and then actually we want to grab the entire left hand side. So here's what it kind of would look like. So if you have you have this, you'd copy and paste that, and then you'd move this over, and you could fill this in however you wanted. So you could do something like this, right? Oh shoot. And again over here. And then we're just gonna actually just go ahead and what's the fill tool? Is it F? I feel like F should be the fill tool. It's G. And then so that's the idea, is that you're taking this. You're taking it and you're basically expanding it. So you can kind of expand it along whatever axis that you want. So there's a thing called 3 slicing. So 3 slicing is you cut this up into 3 parts. So 1 part, 2 part, and then the third part's expandable. And then 9 slicing is you cut it into 9 parts. So not one. You have top left, you have top right, you have the top edge, you have the left edge, you have the right edge, you have the bottom edge, you have the left margin, you have the right margin. And so you're basically saying, hey, I want to keep this part of the image the same, but I want to, and it's actually better if I just show you on Google, I guess. Because I was actually kind of curious on 9 slice scaling. It is a fascinating, because I wanted something that was hey, how do I draw just the basis of what I want and then scale it? And here it is. So 9 slice scaling, the idea again behind it is that you're taking a source image. So you're taking a source image, and if you were to just scale it by some amount, say this is your y scale, you're scaling it from this y1 to this y2. There's obviously a y scalar here, so you're going to stretch it by that much on that axis. But as you can see, the rounded edges that you kind of created get distorted heavily. And for UI, that's obviously not great. And so what 9 slicing says is, hey, I have this left margin, I have this right margin, I have this top margin, I have this bottom margin. And so that will establish, hey, I have a top left corner, a top right corner. I just don't show mama heavily. This is true. This is true. You're still a bench warmer, though. You got the bottom left corner, just FYI. Yeah, well, I hope that bench is warm. UTD don't need you, buddy. They don't need you. I'll warm your mama too. Thanks for the clarification. This is all going on VOD, by the way. So you will be forever embedded with your mama joke, with your mama joke on YouTube. So we have top left edge, top right, top left corner, top right corner, bottom left corner, bottom right corner. Then you have the edges, so top edge, left edge, right edge, and bottom edge. I'll give you that. Let me plug the Mountain Dew rebrand while we're at this. So anyways, the scaling issue. We want to keep this the same, and then we want to allow this to be scaled however much, and then scale this out by however much. So then that we keep these corners. So if I were to go and switch back to Resprite, you can see my obvious implementation of this. I say implementation, I mean example. Why you laughing, bruh? Speed, my mama, Speed, my mama. She's homeless. Just help me out, Speed. Speed, why you laughing, bruh? I just opened your stream. Why you laughing, bruh? Good reference, right? Right, guys? That's still in reference, right? Okay. I'm actually just going to render that statically, I think, for now. So let me actually just do like a 3 pixel. And what do I want to do for extra color palette? I haven't been thinking about the color palette much. I think something dark would be nice. But I don't know what darkness I kind of want. Because the game is actually itself kind of bright. If I go back to Quack Ops, you can see. Like it's sort of actually a brighter game. So like, how can I draw this item? I think I just go for a dark, like a dark gray or something. I think that's the play. So in this case, I really just want to like draw, instead of drawing like instead of drawing what's it called, like just a Minecraft like hotbar, I want to do a 4, like I don't know, it's the idea of doing like a box and then here like box and then rotating this. Can I rotate this box? See if I can. Let's take Ganda. Rotate canvas, rotate. That doesn't work. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Cool. So there's a 45 right there. And so then we would just basically, so that this is that was a 3 pixel brush. Oh, so let me fill this in with something a little bit lighter. Paint bucket, like a little bit lighter of a shade. Yeah, that's kind of uneven though. That's kind of a pain. I don't know if it's how I did my thing or what. But we'll do this basically we're just gonna fill this in with like it's a little bit darker than that. Yeah, that's fine. So we have this darkness now. Which would be good. Am I on the right thing? I am, okay. I want to make sure that I'm on the right thing. So it's gonna rotate this. Can I specify? See, there's a really cool thing about this tool that I'm using right now. This is called LibreSprite or LibreSprite. There's a tool called Resprite, and it's they basically said, hey, as long as you can compile it, like you like can get it for free, but otherwise like you can just check out our Steam or whatever. Super cool premise. Not something you can really see. Do you see often? Do I not control? Okay, yeah, that's a 45. It's just weird, really shaded. And so LibreSprite is like a fork, that community fork is like, hey, here's this. It's pre-compiled everything. Because I just couldn't be bothered to compile anything, to be honest. Okay, that's cool. Cool. So we'll save this as an UI. We'll call it like item. Well, what's call it? I'm just gonna say elements. I don't have a thing called UI elements, but we're just gonna call that for now. So I need to 3 pixel this, and I need to actually line that. Actually, hold up. So we'll line it up. That's a little too thick, I think. So let's do 2 pixel. No, it was 3 pixel. I think it's had as 4 pixel for some. I guess 3 pixels. Yeah. No one really needs more than 3 pixels. I think like if you need more than 3 pixels, that's like you just maybe like, you know, no one needs more than 3 pixels. Okay. So it's kind of the idea. And I'll need to shade this and stuff. But then we would sort of take this box right here, and this box would give us And I could actually split this into like um instead of doing like a sprite sheet, I know I can have it compile a sprite sheet for me, which is nice. That's a nice feature about the library I'm using called Jock. Joke? Jock? I don't know how you pronounce it. The developers, I don't know. But Silvers from twitch.tv/Silvers. Oh, it's so true. So, what isn't the top right border 1 pixel offset? Oh my gosh, I just noticed that. You're right. Wait, what the hell? That's that. I guess that's the process of just it um likely just my assumption here is that everything got sort of wonky when I rotated it. It's not always pixel perfect shading, and if it's especially if it's like an odd shape or whatever, and you rotate that, is you're not always gonna get pixel perfect dimensions. So this may be on me too for not just defining a good. It's one off internal too. Oh my, that's crazy. Yeah, so that is why that is why it's offset so bad. Okay. Oh, and then you can see it right there too. Wait, that's a 1 2 3 4, right? 1 2 3 4, and that is 1 2 3 4. That's bastardous. Hold on. Let me set this. Let me set this as 1. Okay. I wish we actually just go into actually hand draw this a little bit. Okay. I need to lock in, I guess, and just start. What do I want to do? Like this. That's kind of annoying, actually. Why did you point that out? I wasn't expecting that to get actual UI feedback on this. I was just prototyping, but damn, you pointed it out, and I just couldn't ignore it. But that goes all the way down, so that's a very fascinating thing. So 10K hours. Ow, fair. 1 2 3. This is 1 2 3 4. The 1 block offset haunts me. True, actually. I this is my first time ever building like an actual game. All of my developer stuff and actually on top of that, I guess 1 2 3 4 1 2. Yeah, my first time building anything like building any games. So and UI and design is not my strong suit. So I was just kind of going for like a general shape, but that does kind of haunt me, especially like this bottom edge. That's kind of fucked up. So let me actually, you know what I'll do instead? To save us all time, I just need to make this a so we're gonna just fill this in. Actually, just gonna do a rectangle. Bring it down to, let's say, this is probably good. Maybe a little darker. And we'll say UI design expert. Yeah, we gotta get Bella and Alexis in here. That's what we gotta bring in. We gotta bring in the experts. If I did 50 by 50 and then rotate that on its axis, I feel like it'd be off. Maybe if I did like a, let me see how this looks, because I don't know off the top of my head if that like it does. It's not like my mind is kind of going to the assumption that if I just bucket this right here and then just rotate it, it's going to be 1 pixel off on even elements. And I am right. So we do have to make it an odd size, I suppose, just so it maintains its uniformity. I guess we could do like 50, 55. Let me actually do a 3 on here. Say 55. Oh, wait, shoot. Yeah, it's fine. 55. Yeah, cool. Oh, it's filled though. Damn it. Actually, it's not too bad actually, because what I could do actually instead of like having like that, I can just now do a custom internal. Which the issue with this is that if I don't get that properly lined up, it's gonna be like that. Now that's very thin. So maybe go like a little, like a one across that. Is that's probably aligned, right? Yeah, it is. Now, I think it still should be thicker. I'm not a UI. I by no means have I ever done anything UI related. It's like seriously UI related. This is just my intuition, which is a pain. We can do like a triple design like that layer like that, and then we'll just rotate this. Maybe I have to snap it to this, but nope. That's kind of even. There's some amount of like, it's regularly expressed like this, but I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know. It's giving me some weird vibes. I appreciate it. Appreciate your compliments. OKC and 4 still. We got size in the paint. Yeah. Don't care about your size. No one needs real size, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, Craig. Or OKC has to deal with Chet Holmgren. The twig can't save us anymore. He's so... You know what? I don't mind that, actually. I actually really don't mind that. I think I'd definitely get like... Maybe I replace the internals with this. Yeah, I actually don't mind that. Surprisingly. Maybe also... I takes down a 1. No, not 41, just 1. Oh, once I learn the actual good bindings for this, it's all over for everybody. Let's see. There's no way I can like actually like perfectly align it, and that sucks, obviously. I can make an arrow. Actually, I think an arrow pointing at what item, that would be kind of cool, actually. Like the idea that we have like an like it's almost like a compass like object where you could have like an arrow pointing at what your currently selected item is. So if I did like a line on this, like go from like this way, like pointing like at this, that could be a cool feature. Too chunky. But I like the idea. The idea of it, like it pointing at what item I'm selecting is kind of cool. But then I could also just like have like a highlighting thing, like let's just take this. Or actually, can I do like a? I can magic wand. So if I did like something like this, and then okay, I'm gonna try something. So if I actually copy this to a new 64 by 64 thing, or actually let's say 64 by indexed. Wait, no, that's palette. That's palette based. I was hoping I could get some like there's frames. I don't want frames. I actually want just straight. I want like I'm not sure if there's any way to do this in Libre Sprite, but like the what's it called? The overview that shows me like the grid lines of where everything is. I would rather not draw those by myself. I could, but it'd be really annoying. Because if I did it, it'd be like, first of all, I'd put it below this one. Can I put this below this? Thanks. I think I scared Craig out of here. It's awesome. There goes. Let's see. So, in my case, I want these all to be 64 by 64. Which would give me a grid size. And if I just did like pink and white or something, it'd be kind of obvious. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. Be obvious where everything is. Okay, I guess just do one on this, I guess. I don't know. I wish I was good at actual UI design. I hate doing this design just because it's a process that you actually have to figure out, and it's not fun. Just the worst part of I think it's a good thing to know, but game dev wise, I just feel always so bogged down. I don't know why. I'll do that, and then we'll do. Okay, that's probably not that shade. White, I guess. Yeah, white will be good. And then pink again. So it's to kind of define our map. Just wait till I get good at UI design and graphics. It's over. I just need to offset that now technically, and then that's actually I did actually mess it up. Yikes. Okay. So if I do like yeah, there it goes. And then actually no, I don't want the entire thing. I want just this. And then we just copy this over. So it's this is a good tiling. Ooh, I'm just doing this so I can see where I am in my sprite map. Is this something's wrong here? Hold on. Something's wrong here. Is this 64 by 64, right? Let's see. Let's check. We're gonna check this ourselves. So from bottom right to top left. Cause I'd rather not stitch. I don't want to stitch all of these together. I just want to load this from a file and then maybe use like indices to access this. Especially for UI elements, kind of keeping them centralized in one file is a bit of a necessity. Oh shoot. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. But this is. Oh no, that I'm just delusional. Okay, so that's that. Now if we turn our layer back on, we can kind of see where everything goes now. Didn't I make that? I thought I made that. I thought I made that 55 by 55. Let me check, I guess. Oh, so actually UI. And we'll say what's this called? Tiles, I guess, tiling. Oh gosh. For some reason, and I can't figure this out. Maybe someone else in here knows. I use Voicemeeter Banana to separate my. I use Voicemeeter Banana to separate all my tracks from my or my Spotify track, like my VOD track from my my Twitch track, so I can actually play copyrighted music in my stream. But then when I export to Twitch, I don't have to worry about the or when I export it to YouTube. Sorry, I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's just too big. Uh-oh. So I'll just remake that, I guess. But I guess just to make it 63 by 63. Yeah, so just go ahead and delete this then. So 63 by 63. Start with maybe like a dark. Let's ha 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 ha. You think you're so funny? You think it's so funny? You are. Let's actually say 55. Yeah, 55 is good. And then I thought yeah, and then I go up a little bit more. So let's say like for this, we'll go 20. No, I actually did say 20, but you put it the wrong place. What the? Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. Oh wait. Oh, it's 0 to 100. Oh, it's HSB. Duh. Duh. This makes no sense. What's the max of this? It's 100. So why wasn't 20 working? Don't know. Okay, it's fine. So now if I do brush on a brush, a square on this, we can do just a little small inset. Let's see. I want to get back to programming, but I have to do this art stuff. I don't mind art so much. It's so tedious for me that it feels it's 25 now. It just feels like it's a hassle more than anything, especially when I'm like, the logic is more important in this case, and like, I don't know. There's some fun stuff, I guess. And then if I actually use this background color, maybe it's nice to do for a line. Well, and we'll say like, why is it doing that? Hello? Wait, where did my item go? Hello? Hello? What the heck? There it is. That was weird. Yeah, I'm doing 50 logos tonight and hand sketched UX layout for App Final. Yeah, that would probably be the end of me, honestly. I think I'd draw the line there. I'm too deep? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And then what if I highlighted these edges just so that they're a little bit more stand out? I don't know. Programmer art is always so tough to judge because like you want to be like representative of what you want, but it's like in this case I'm not sure if it is, you know. No, I don't want that one. This one, and I want it to be 1 pixel. There we go. And we'll turn this in a second just so we can get a good representation. And I guess it'd be on the left edge and the bottom left edge, and then this would be a little bit lighter, actually. Like this would be like lighter. Right? Is that how that works? I feel like that's how it works, right? Am I wrong about this? This is proper. These are lighting things. These are, and then maybe I guess I'd do like a grading on it if I wanted to. But let's keep it simple, stupid. Let's just even remove that for now. And what we're gonna do instead is now we're gonna take our element here. So we're just gonna grab this right here, and we'll just turn this at a 45-degree angle, and it doesn't fit, and it also really messes that up. Oh my gosh. Oh, I guess it is. I did need to consider what the max size on the, because when I was considering sizing, I did 55 here, but I need to actually consider what the line length is here, like the maximum line length from here, or yeah, on the so the hypotenuse in this case, because in this case actually it is just like it actually is just two triangles, or yeah, just two triangles. So like it'd be if I were to draw this as a line with like a 3 pixel weight, we'd have something like, we'd have this. This is some nice elementary math, but we basically, because we were measuring this like, hey, we can make this maximum size, the width of the length, and obviously we can't do that because elementary math tells us that we have, not elementary math, but trigonometry tells us we have the hypotenuse here, and that'll be the longest side, so can't use these for measurements. And so a squared b squared, so if I were to say 64 minus 6, we can say that would be, if we just had a padding of like a margin, I guess, is that what's called a margin, the how far away you are from the edges, or is that padding? I think it's padding. Anyways, 6 pixels away from the edge of the tile. So that's the edge there. So that would be obviously 64 minus 6 is 58. That's on one side. Margin. Thank you. Because margin and padding bleeding, it always escapes me. The because padding is an internal thing, right? Is that correct? The internal padding on that. It's time to erase this again. I suppose I could always scale it down rather than just entirely removing it. So if I would like rotate this, you see how messed up that is though? It's kind of funny to me. Which means I probably should just remove these stripes really quickly. So then we can just redraw them as necessary. And so the easiest thing we can do here is we can just go ahead and grab this. We're gonna rotate this at a 45. And how that's right. Well, it's 55 though. Should be fine. Never mind. What am I saying? We can scale it. So that's nice-ish. Nice enough for us to not really care right now. We're gonna erase that edge. We're gonna make it kind of more squared off, I think. Now we have this issue, and you can probably spot it. I know Craig spotted it earlier. Is that we have these little patches because of how we drew our thing. So I think what we actually can do here is just fill it, and then just draw our. So let me just. Actually, can I just take a line here? So let me do an I. That, and then down here to this edge. Don't worry, guys. If you're here for the programming, we'll get to the programming in a second. I promise. I just really UI is something I really. It is a necessary. I necessarily need it. That's redundant. I necessarily. Why am I trying to use necessarily so much? I don't know. My point being that we will get to it soon. Promise. UI is fun if you like. UI is fun if you really enjoy the concept of vision. I mean, it's an art thing, right? So like for me, art's not like a terribly important thing in the design process, but I get it. I totally get it. So I get it. If you wanna mess around and let me scale this up just like a little bit actually. It's by 1 pixel. So if I just scale that up one more time, actually, hold on, because that's slightly uneven, and that's gonna bother me if I don't fix this. Oh, but look at that now. That's not cool. That's not cool. Okay, we're just gonna actually not care about that for now. Just don't notice that it's 1 pixel off, and you'll be fine. So what we'll do now is actually gonna take this, and we're actually just going to fill in another line here, with this one instead. So we're actually going to make these chunkier just to make it a little bit more, I don't know. There's definitely some words I want to say here. I just don't know the proper terminology for any of these things. So I'm not trying to make a fool of myself, I guess. Okay. So let me just do this. Nope, that's off. That's certainly off. There it goes. There you go. That's a little nicer. And then now we need to fill in the gaps on this, which we can do the same line weight. I think that'll be fine. If anybody here is an artist and wants to give visual feedback, obviously Frogger's art here is a artist. So if you have any feedback that you'd like to tell me about what you think I could do better here, feel free to chime in. I do take suggestions well, just because I don't know how to do this stuff properly. Or I should rephrase that. I am learning to do this stuff properly, and it takes a second. We are just gonna keep this we can shade this later and worry about that later. But for this moment, we're just going to actually just stick with this. So I need to do the magic wand tool, and we're actually just gonna copy and paste this. This is gonna be kind of funny. there's two ways I can go about this. And they're both extremely funny. One, I could just copy and paste all of the positions of these. I could copy and paste in the entire thing and then have like a highlight depending on which item is selected. Or like empty if it's like not selected. Or the alternative is that I design a system that can that could find and highlight it. I think option A, like over. I don't want to see that what I just said there is over engineering. It's just a classical case of over engineering. So we should not do that. Let's just, as they say, keep it simple, stupid. If we need to over engineer the system later, if there's some graphical need for, if there's some graphical need for doing that, we'll do it. But for now, we're just gonna keep it simple, stupid. Large factor is, do you want to put another thing on the list? Yeah, exactly. Like my list is kind of growing, right? So keep it simple, stupid is super important in this case. I watched a video recently about what would your use case be? Like, do you really need to over engineer another system? It's kind of like, I guess, in the graphic design equivalent, it'd be, do you really need to add this finishing touch? Is it going to be a noticeable effect, etc., etc. I'm looking for the fill tool. It's right there, paint bucket tool, right there in my eyes. But I can basically, all I have to do is basically just move that up and just do like this. And then realistically I can just rotate it, but we'll do the same thing. We're just going to copy this. And then G and G and that. This is a very funny thing to me. Yes. Yeah, and I get that, right? Like the sentiment is totally valid. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, I'm actually gonna move this down here. Like how much do they take, like how much do people take cues from this stuff is the big question. And like realistically, it's not often. They're gonna see, I mean, once it gets to be like a big game, certainly, like people will do lots and lots of like in-depth analysis, and like, especially if you have big, which my game, I'm trying to make it very big UGC based. UGC is like a huge part of what I want to see. Want to see in my game, which, if you guys aren't aware, my game is called Quack Ops. It's a game about duck spies, inspired by my girlfriend and I's stuffed animal squadron. So that's the inspiration behind it. It's a very fun inspiration. I'm glad I picked it. I would have done like language, I think, but if not for that. So it's fascinating. So there's that. So that's the item. That's the item selection. Now, what else would I need for this? Because if I did like 1, 2, 3, and 4, I can like cycle through those items. Masterminds, which I also have a bunch of items on my list, by the way. I don't think I talked about that too much, but I have a bunch of items on my list that I'm actually working on. Or to look at my here. In terms of like actual components and stuff, like I had a health/stealth bar. So this health stealth bar, the idea is that you're not going to want to get caught, and if either person gets caught, it's it was that old Flash game that had like you had to escape prison or something, or there was some kind of prerequisite that you had to get through this level without being seen. And so the different items that I kind of thought about, like there's a bush item I had thought about, like you can find this bush in a chest, or some kind of box or something, and you can pull it out. And put like the duck spy can start wearing this as armor for a second, which actually does remind me. I know what I need to design. One thing I neglected to do is Hello Neighbor, exactly. Yeah, Hello Neighbor is a good example. I think Hello Neighbor is more is a smarter version of what I'm talking about. It's more like more of an adaptation thing, and it's also like across levels. My game is across levels, whereas Hello Neighbor is, I don't think, across multiple levels. So what do I want to do for health? I was trying to think about this, because I think health is a very important, or not health, I think these bars are a very important part of the process. And I could go simple, and I could just like a simple thing. I do want to do like a little garnish of like duck in there. Ooh, you know what I could do? Oh, actually, a loaf would be good. I was thinking like a duck foot or a duck like a beak. And so, can I get like a reference image for this? Hold on, let's go look for a reference image. I'm assuming this is how you art because I would assume this is the way to do this. Duck foot from bottom. Let's see. Can but I need like more of a. And actually, that would go well with the stealth theme, like the duck feet. Is there like like this? Like I want something like this. I don't want to. I'm obviously not gonna steal this art, but I like the idea. Like the what is it composed of? So we have 3 lines, and we have 2 triangles for the webbing. A platypus. I need a platypus. Okay, so what we can do, again, we can take a Minecraft-esque approach, and maybe can I? I'm not gonna steal the image. I just want to copy it over and see if what I can. Oh, yeah, I can do that. I just want to like copy over the image and like, because you should never steal art. Don't ever steal art. Art stealing bad. But I went ahead and copied this over to my Libre sprite. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reference this image. So we're gonna scale this down a little bit. The only person you should steal art from are dead people. True or not true? Okay, so the outline, I guess it's yeah, so line, offline. So what if it's like there's a curve tool. I don't think stealing from dead people is good either. I think art in the public space, like public art, is fine. Like Starry Night, for example, is a great example of this. Like repurposing Van Gogh's like Starry Night or something to that effect, super fine with me. I think it's more of a creative license than stealing in that case. Okay, so I didn't think this was gonna turn into an art stream. Hello, where did my diodes go? There they are. Okay, so we're still gonna use the same background as this. A platypus plumber. Need a platypus plumber. Platypus. So I guess something like this. And then can I maybe like curve it a little bit? See if oh, I see. Influence equals, yeah, making a single change from the OG. Oh, making a single change from the OG equals no. Yeah, exactly. You get it. Can I don't know. I'm kind of lost on how I want to do this. I'm not great at art. I have no experience with art, so this is like my entire first step into art, which is sketchy, because I was like expecting it to be a little bit. I was expecting maybe to like just try to use some amazing people's assets from the internet, which I am using. Ha 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 ha! I just realized I said sketchy. That's funny. Ha ha ha! I'm so funny. Ha ha ha! Okay. Oh wait, actually, I could. Actually, that's not bad. Actually, it's not really uniform though. But if I just actually just did like 3 sticks, and then connected them, I think it's be fine actually. So we can actually like just do. It's almost like chicken feet in this case. What if I did like what's the angle on this? It's 45. Let's actually lock it to like let's like I think 49.2 actually looks pretty good. Oh, programmer art, you make me so fun. You feel joy. You fill my life with joy, programmer art. So 49.2. So 180 minus 49.2, 131. right? And that's, of course, not going to let me choose that. Right? Is that? Okay. I just can't change that, can I? Oh! There's a symmetry tool. Wait, what'd that do? Does that ensure symmetry between the two, like... Oh. Interesting. I don't know if that does what I think it does. But you know, we take those. So if I guess I do want it to be a little, okay, I do want this to be a little bit more up. Well, let me go, okay, I should reference a duck feet again. I don't know what a duck foot looks like an actual duck foot. Duck foot. Man, this would be a great time to have Abby here. Abby, what does a duck foot look like? And she'll say, well, you small little creature. Oh, I see. Okay. They actually look like equidistant almost. But it's like, this is obviously farther back, and then they connected via this. I also miss Abby. I hope she's doing good. Not like we just didn't see her like 2 hours ago, but... that's 22. 22. That's not... Oh, did I start from the center, I think? I think I did. $22. I don't know. It feels like forever. Well, this will be a VOD, so you can show this and say, look how much I missed you. Okay, so it's 22. That's good, I think. And then maybe I like I brighten this up a little bit and I could do like a little, but that should be behind it though. That complicates things, I guess. That does, I think, complicate things. I guess I can make another layer. You know, I should do that actually. I should do that. Wait, what the heck? Where did all these duck feet come from? Oh my. Listen, motivated master U72LM. Listen, buddy. Get that ass banned. Get that ass out of here. Motivated master. What do you think this is? What? What's the question mark? I had the symmetry tool on, so it was... This is so funny. I was like, what are these tools? This tool isn't doing anything. I lied like a liar. And I just... That's cool. What peeps say I was doodling. What? I don't... Okay. Let me try something. Ink. How can I get rid of that? Oh, they have gradients in here. Okay. Hey, that's nice. See, now the thing about LibreSprite or Resprite in general is that there's so much polish and so many features I just don't utilize that I should. See, I don't know how to disable this though. I want to disable that. And I should make a new layer. Always make a new layer, I think. And this will be called Stealth Bar. And this will be renamed to Inventory. Yeah. So that's good. Now, again, is this still broken? It is. How do I fix that? I thought I could just turn off the symmetry thing, but it's just not working. Am I gonna have to Google this? I hope not. I hope I don't have to Google this. I think I will have to. Cause I see like this the horizontal symmetry thing, and I see that, but I can't like unclick them. It's just like, oh wait, I see. Okay, there it goes. I had to long press on the button for some reason. Okay. We'll say like that, I suppose. And then, oh, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. Never mind. I'm silly. So at 50 degrees, that'd be 130 on the opposite side. 130. 130. This is so tough. How do artists do this all the time? How are artists actually like? How are they so talented at what they do? It's mind-boggling to me. Like it's like watching someone. I don't know. I've never been good at art. Like my family, I have some family members that are really good at art. Let's see, 130. 130. But like the idea about the idea behind art, is just it's one that escapes my mind for sure. Huh. Let's see. I think I'm putting too much like I put too much resources. I put too much resources into like making sure everything's perfect. And I think it's also something that comes with this like naturally with gaining it as a skill. So I think I'm gonna like maybe because I'll probably end up doing a lot more game dev on this over the next few months, and so yeah, that's fine. I'm actually gonna even color this in. So the brush, like that's, and then maybe I make those wider. Thoughts? And so we're gonna darken that now, and then we will basically just go over the trace of this. 6 maybe. Oh, I guess I need a line here. Sorry, whoopsie. See, yeah, I know it's like a habit. I know it's a habit that so many people have that it's like, oh no, my game doesn't have exact pixel like I don't know. I feel that way. I feel like, oh, if I don't have pixel perfect symmetry, my life is just straight fucking, it's just over. So I guess we take those. That's also uneven. Okay, we're just gonna try. We'll try brushing that up then. We'll just we are gonna try to actually like match the symmetry a little bit, just so we're not like. Yeah, that's about right. I reference wise, oh, I guess I should put like a little arc on it. It's because it is a web. So if we do like a boom, 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 like that, I guess. I don't know how art works. Boom, like more like a slanted triangle, I guess. Actually, that's not bad. Hey, I am not mad at that. I'm actually decently happy with this. I kind of like that. I feel like there's some improvements I can make like down here. I think like that's like that needs to be like maybe moved back a little bit. But I can kind of just like I'm learning art. I'm learning how to art up in this. Nice. Okay. So just maybe the quirks are what makes things so much better. Because life isn't perfect, you know? Life is never perfect. Hey, I like that. I like that. And so now what we can do is add color to this. So now we'll take this and just supplant it in the middle. Make sure that's aligned at least. So let me just. You know what I think? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you know what it is? You know why I think I'm doing so much better at this than I used to? It's because I'm in a drafting class. I'm in an architectural. I'm in an architectural class for theater, but a drafting class nonetheless, which is kind of a wild thing. To like have said, oh hey, when worlds collide. It's so true actually. Which it's bizarre to me. It's such a bizarre thing to think about. I guess like this. And that's like, yeah. And so now we're gonna select this. I'm gonna delete that. And I guess we're actually gonna move this. Oh, I did not mean to do that. My fault. So I am getting down to the pixel perfection here at least because I want to make sure it's aligned. So much theater mixes with my graphic design and vice versa. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, like when you think about it, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense for these things to collide. Is it on the inventory one? It sure is. Okay, so that's that. And so now what we'll do is actually color in that foot. So for every half one. So I guess we can just like paint this now. Where's the paint tool? There we go. I need a palette. Give me a palette. Give me a palette. What palette should I use here? Let's go let's go X11. I think they have a nice color palette. Shout out the X11. Yeah, actually I do like that. Hold on. Stealth bar. Maybe a little darker. I can kind of adjust it though. I kind of want it more orangey though, like this kind of orange. And then let's like this be like a darker. Oh yeah. It's all coming together now. And then now I need to like have a crack down the middle. So like for a half health or for a half stealth thing. You can just tell it's a programmer art though. Use orange. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now I need to do, what I need to do now is I need to split this down the middle. And so to do that, I'm just going to grab any kind of gray. Let's say like this kind of gray. Actually, let's just grab the gray that we have right here. That'll be or this one actually. And so now we're just going to take a line. We're going to draw it down the middle. And actually, you know what we should do actually? I think it'd be cool if we did like a jagged line. So something like boom, 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 boom. And then on this right half, we'll do this. So let me G. And then we just need to grab this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all coming together now. So there's a stealth bar. Now I need stamina. I feel like stamina should be. When I think of stamina, I think of green. I also think of feet still. I can also my mind kind of goes to when I'm thinking about doing like because I'll implement this kind of soon. Also, now that I'm thinking about this, I need to scale that down and scale this up. That's fine. But when I'm thinking about this, I don't know. I'm kind of reminded that I want to do like some kind of circle for that. My mind goes to like, oh hey, like make it like a bar, like a circular bar. I don't know. I am not a graphic design major. I am not ever close to that. Make this a PNG file, and we'll call it let's call it elements. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of aware that it I would assume that. I need to highlight this by the way. So export as a PNG. Yes. We can work on that. But I mean, like, I'm actually kind of happy about this design. I think it's a good. I think it's cool. So now to actually implement this, because we have the art, we now have a sort of basis for this, right? So now we move on to the fun part, which is trying to program it in. We have because we can technically use it for stamina right now if we wanted to, the duck feet. So in the UI, what we'll do is we'll have in our scene, in our world scene, we have a draw thing right here. So draw key map, draw attributes. And so we should get our sprite sheet. So our sprite sheet in this case, okay, we do have a sprite. We do have a setup here. So we need to do like UI sprite sheet, and that'll be. Let me think about that. That'll be Jock or J2D sprite sheet. Yeah. So that'll be that. And so when we set it up now, what we can say is, hey, self.ui sprite sheet is going to be J2D sprite sheet dot load or from single picture. And then I can just pass self.context for Jock. And that's called, I think it's in UI. What's that? What is that in? Let's check. Let me. In my assets directory, it's in UI, I think. UI/elements.png. So it's UI/elements.png. Which is awesome. Okay. And now we do this. We'll say const, or we'll say. Okay, we'll do the silly syntax. It's kind of silly. It's not that silly, but for some reason when I'm programming in this language, I love Zig. Zig is a fun language. I love it. The ZLS, the language server that they use, not great. So we'll say inventory, and we'll say the rectangle in here is 0 to 64, right? So dot x, and if I do this, it'll actually probably fix it for now at least. So it'd be jock.j2d.spriteinfo, sprite.info, sprite sheet.spriteinfo. There you are. Dot x. Oh. Whoopsie. Yeah, so that's the way to do that. And then we just do a try here. So it's from 0, 0. So the idea is that we're starting at 0, 0, and then we're gonna extend to 64, 64. And the next one is actually going to be, because what we have, we started it from 64. We went down, or no, sorry. We started, so it's the Y down. Sorry. And again, it's still the same thing. And so we'll say inventory slot 1, selected slot 1. We'll say slot 2 here, which all we have to do here is just increases by 64. Slot 3 will be 128. And then this last one will be slot 4, and that will just be, which, by the way, if you aren't familiar with this project, this is all written in scratch from scratch for the most part. There's a lot of what's called shimming by this library called Jock that does a lot, again, which what J2D is Jock is lots of help rendering stuff. So a lot of it is from scratch, like UI and all that stuff. There's no game engine that's gonna like handle all this stuff for me, and you shouldn't, but yeah. So that's that. And then now we're gonna do this. We're gonna say duck foot empty, and that'll be the x there will be 0. Oh wait, this is also 192, by the way. Before I just messed up I did mess up that math. So that's 128 because we're going now that we traversed our inventory. So we had our top slot. Now we're in the second row, and that was our inventory slots, and now we have a third row, which is our duck feet. So now all we have to do here is just keep increasing these. So that's 64, and this will be duck foot full. and then we'll say duck foot half, which will be 128. And if you want to test this really quickly, we can just go to a draw really quickly. We can say for 0, let's say 5. And then we can say b dot. Oh, let's get the sprite first. Let's say const sprite equals b dot, or say self dots UI sprite sheet dot get sprite by name. And so we're gonna want to get our duck foot full. So we're basically gonna grab our duck foot image from our sprite from our sprite sheet. So have a sprite there, and so now we can say b.sprite of sprite, and then dot pause is going to be, if we started it, let's say const start x equals 100, or let's say 100, and our const start y is going to be, do I have a window thing? Oh, I do. Window size dot get height float minus like 100 or something. And so then we'll do, all right, we can just actually keep this the same y level. So let me say pause is gonna be, it'll be x times and we're gonna need to cast this. So we'll say float from int I, and it's gonna be start x, or I guess it'd be x, what's that called? It's like distance or something. We'll call that. So x distance times our I plus 1, and then we need to make sure that the compiler knows that we want it to be specifically an F32, and then dot y is going to be y. So it's hydration time. I am out of my elixir, so I have to go fill it up. Give me 1 moment, and I will fill it up in like just 2 shakes of a feather. Oh, I see what happened. So I didn't do dot x equals. Okay. So that should in theory render our sprite, our feet across the screen. I'm gonna go fill up my bottle really quickly. So I'm gonna switch this over to let me do something really quickly while I go get my water. I will be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Please enjoy the recording while you wait. Okay. I hope the simulation helped. That's very loud. I just realized how loud that is. Okay. We will, as per requested, we have our elixir, our potion. We're going to take a big old gulp of this because it is 2:45 in the morning, and sometimes we all need a little hydration. Make sure. Oh, we're gonna fix that. That's good stuff. I was gonna shrink this quickly. There it goes. A little bit. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So that is that's good small segment. Thank you for reminding me to drink water. And if you haven't already, please drink some water. It's good for you. Hydration is the key to life, many would say. So, what we got? What we got now? Well, now we actually can render our stuff. Let's see what the comp error is. We do need to kind of... We're going to do something hacky. But we can do this because we know that by the time that our scene renders, we will have loaded the sprite sheet. So we're just going to mark this as undefined for now. This will get rendered. And there we go. There's our little sprites in the bottom. So I'm going to also change that distance. I'm going to say y. Let me go to const y equals. So our distance will say 25 or something. Yeah. So we did in fact get that rendering. A little too close together now, but is it the point? Oh, and you saw in the chat that it had a leak. So we have to make sure that when we deinitialize, that we're gonna go ahead and just destroy this, because if we don't destroy the sprite sheet, then when we change scenes, it's going to just linger in memory, and we're going to keep accumulating these sprite sheets every time because we're going to load them every time. Now, some things we can do in terms of caching. Where's my draw item? Draw inventory is right, what I called it. Okay. Good to know I have that. So we can now, like I said, we have this fully rendered. We need to maybe position it better. Maybe put it in the top or something. I don't know what the best way to render that is. Also, we do need to make a little guy, because right now we just have Amelia. She's this little cool little art pack person. So, where do we want to put her? Where do we want to put not her? Where do we want to put our items? If we were to like look at, I'm gonna pull up Excalidraw really quickly. I hope that's okay. I hope everybody likes Excalidraw. So this is Excalidraw. If you're not familiar with it, it's just a cool little canvas thing. It's infinite canvas, and I have a bunch of stuff on here from lots of different places. I was calculating earlier when I was calculating, like a few streams ago. Sack cause crime. No. I'm not. We do need to draw our stamina stuff and like all these things. My thing is, where do I want to actually draw it in terms of a sack would be cool though. Actually, now that I'm thinking about that, I think a sack would be cool for stealth. You're right. That's a very good idea. Thank you for the suggestion. So the idea with our game, we're just gonna draw. We're gonna fill this in maybe. Cool. So it's our game, right? So it's our game. Now there's a few places we can position this. So we have our this will be our sort of. This is gonna be our little inventory, and we can fill this background in. That's a little inventory thing. And we can even draw a character with like this circle or something, right? We'll just make them white or something. So here's our character. But where do we put, given this element, which I think would work best in the bottom left corner, where do we position our health? Do we position our health like below here? I feel like I say health, stealth and stamina. There's a few things that actually, because we could maybe move this up and then position our stuff right here, which I think could be cool. Like use like this or something. Because I can also do a bar system, by the way. Like a bar system is very easy to implement. So I don't know if I want to. I kind of like the idea of the feet are just very cute, so I don't know if I want to get rid of those now. But we'll actually make this orange really quickly. So orange and then say green or something, like this green. So will this work, you think? Do we think this would be good? I feel like it could be good. It could be nice. And maybe I'm kind of curious because I don't, again, I've never, UX and UI design are not anywhere near my strong suit. I have several friends that would probably look at this and be like, yeah, it's a good place. But I think, I don't know. I'm kind of I'm torn. I think this is a good place to put it. I think having like I think getting it implemented is a good, like, that's the key I think right now, is getting it implemented and getting it started. So we can look maybe at the actual details later. Ignore we can always, there's a good quote I heard. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard this one. It's the hardest step of implementing anything. It can be a system, it can be drawing, is taking that first step and getting it is getting a draft out. Because once you get that first draft out, you've taken the biggest step you've already needed, right? You've taken that leap to get where you want to go. Now you just need to take little steps to get, to exactly where you want to go. You have the estimation, now kind of pinpoint where you want to go from there, which is a very good idea. It's a very, very lovely, very, very lovely sentiment. So I'm actually going to start at, it's very interesting to me. Oh, I know why. So let's say, and I think what we're going to do here, so we'll say 50. We're going to basically try to, so actually just going to go like 20 from the edge and then do this. And we can actually add like a layout system later. We can take this practicality, this lack of abstraction, and if we feel like we need a layout system later, which we will probably need for scaling and different size windows, we can do that. But what we can do here, we're going to say scale, we're going to say .x equals like 0.5 and .y equals 0.5, just so that it's not so big. And actually going to set this like to 65, maybe. We're just gonna, we'll feel it out. Let's look at what this looks like in the bottom left corner. We'll maybe try to render our inventory. I do like that. I think it's nice. And because we half that distance, we can actually just make that this or half the scale, we can actually make this half as well. So that's a win. And I think we also need to add a bar behind it. I'm actually make this 30. And so now we have that. And again, a lot of the stuff we will take and we will revise and we will consider new spots for later. We're not gonna look at that for now. We will actually render this test item. So I'm actually just going to we are just going to actually comment this part out at least. So we have that. Oh. So we can say b dot, or we can say const inventory equals self.ui sprite sheet dot get sprite by name inventory, and then to do change sprite based on selection. And abstractions are something we can really consider later, but we need to know where we are and where we're going. Like I'm just trying to reiterate this. I think not only is it good to kind of get it in my mind, but I think it's insanely important to understand that, like, you shouldn't try to design a system that you don't know from the start, right? That's something I have learned over the years of, I started programming when I was a teenage, like not even teenager. I was a kid when I started programming, and so seeing where I've kind of gone and seeing how I've implemented systems before and had to kind of like retrofit, I think it is a good idea just to keep it simple, stupid, and work from there. So we'll basically just draw this. We'll say b.sprite inventory, and so in our position, we're actually going to position this. We had that at 20. So if that's at 20, that's 64. We can say 32. So let's say 50, 32, 50, 52. And then again, all this stuff will get added later and fixed, but I think, and our Y, I guess we'll try at something like we're gonna actually steal the window size here, because we do need to kind of know the window size to kind of accurately model where we kind of want it. It'll help with next stuff, because knowing the window height and then subtracting off, like we can say 250 or something, not maybe 200. And that's, if we run this now, let's see what we have here. Did I uncomment it? I didn't. So that actually we wouldn't work. If we would have gone into that wouldn't have worked. Now it'll work. So let's let it compile. So there's obviously some scaling that needs to be done here. There's lots of scaling that needs to be done, but the general positioning seems fine. I mean, that seems like sort of what I want. And obviously I think I should go back and just, more than likely, I should probably, actually gonna, so 64 times 3, it's 190, 64, 128, 192. So let's say like 250 something. We'll try that. So, because we're just gonna scale it up, but I probably will go back and redraw some of these sprites such that they're well, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So that's what the important part is. I'm kind of glad. I will say, let's just say 20 or something. Maybe we just do actually start at 20. I was trying to center it, but yeah, that's more. I mean, I love that you can see the edges of it. Like you can see the physical edges of it, which is kind of funny. I actually kind of want to move this closer to the edge of the screen, such that we can just stop. I just don't want to mess with the I wouldn't want, I don't know. There you go. Yeah. So that's sort of kind of what we want. And then all we need to do for this is just add the width of this, which is like, you take the scale of it, and then you just, you get the offset, you get the scale, you add that on, then you divide by 2, and then you have to take the width of all the sprites for that, and then yada, yada, yada. So, but in this case, we'll just move it a little bit more to the right. So we should have that now. That's one of them at least. Again, we're hard coding right now. We will engineer a better solution. I'm just kind of prototyping. I think it's a little too far. That's fine. And I also want to try my what? For the actual point here, this will be again, these are all gonna be relative to the size of the, like, I'm curious. So we'll draw the sprite. Where do we, so we take half that size. So in this case, we start from 5, and then it's like a quarter of it. So you add the width and then take the half of that and take half of that. So it'd be a quarter. So you're adding 5 plus a quarter of the width of the inventory. And then you move it up about a quarter. So we can try that really quickly, and that'll give us a point. So let's try that and see what happens. So our x in this case, so 5 plus a quarter of this, that's 64, 192, a quarter of 192. Off the top of the dome, I don't know. 192 divided by 4, 48. That makes sense. Huh. Okay, so it'd be 48. And then our y in this case would be window size dot get height float minus 250 minus I know this is like terrible code to look at, by the way. I know people are gonna hate me for like, it'd be like, dude, why don't you just add constants and all these things? And they're so right. They are absolutely right. And so again, 192 divided by 4, which would be 48. So it'd be 202 or something. Or no, it'd be just it's 298 because we want to add it, actually do more on it. I actually don't know what scale we want here. I'm actually gonna try 2.0 and 2.0. I don't know how big this is. Let me say test item. So let's see if we got it in the right place. But I'm curious. Okay, no, it's totally off. But the scaling is kind of close to what we want it. If I just subtract off 250, that's not gonna be in the right position. But take a second. Hey, that's closer to what we want. Okay. And then once we get these base elements in, I'm then gonna not over-engineer things, but I will patiently. So what do you feel like? Would it instead of like a quarter of that? What if we did like a sixth of that? We can just kind of ballpark. Let's say 30. Ballpark it. And then we can say let's say 225, and then we'll say, let's try 2.5 on this and see what we get here. I got my jacket in a second. Haha. So that's kind of what I mean, do we get what it kind of looks like though? You know? And then if I wanted like a selected state, it'd be like inventory slot 1, you know? Picking up what I'm putting down? We picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah. Now we also, so the downfall of doing what I did here, of highlighting but the behind it, is that it doesn't make it quite obvious. I mean, it makes it obvious what's selected, but there's like you kind of want to highlight the box itself. So there's a lot of places to go from here. Also, that's actually pretty good alignment for the stealth, or whatever that becomes. Well, you know, one thing I will do. One thing I will do. So we can actually say we're gonna say const x star equals 25, and we also are just going to cast it to an F32. Well, what we're gonna do actually is we're going to take our health. So we're gonna get our stamina. So we're gonna get our stamina. Our stamina in this case is going to be self.world.player.entity. And so we can say, in this case, self.world. Oh, actually, I have a thing in here, I think, called player, which is self.getPlayer assume non-null. Very, very cool method name. Very good method name. And what we can say is their stamina is going to be self.world.registry.get components .stamina, and then player.entity. That gives us what we want. So then we can start dynamically rendering these things. Now we can what we can do is if we imagine this as a percentage, like basically the percentage would be like, it'd be stamina.value divided by components.stamina dot max, right? So we're getting this as a get as percentage. And then what we're going to do is multiply that by 100. So we can scale it up. So we're going to scale it. So 0.85, scale by 100, scale by 100. It's going to have 85. Or, no, let's scale by 10. So we can get 8.5. And so that's good. Because then when we scale by 8.5, we can say for 0.10, if we want to show 10 max. And we can kind of also scale this. Like we can also, the 10 is sort of like an arbitrary, not an arbitrary value. It's based off how many items we want to show. So in this case, we are going to show 10 items. And we're going to say remainder is going to say f32 equals percentage. Or do we need that actually? I think we should just actually do var percentage and then percentage minus equals 1. Dun. So because left to right, we're rendering that one, then that one, then that one, then that one, and that one. Oh, then we have a half, or close to a half, etc. You know. Oh, I guess we could, in this case, we could kind of use just 100 here and then subtract off 10 each time, and that'll give us like, oh, if we have 5 left, more than 5 left, then yeah, that. So we'll say if percentage greater than 1. Say if our percentage is greater than 1, then we're going to. Oh, we can do this way. Const sprite is that if it's greater than 1, in that case we can say, hey, we have more hearts left. We can render full hearts, and that'll be self.ui sprite sheet. Oh, sprite name. Yeah. We can say duck foot full. Else if percentage is greater than equal to 0.5, duck foot half, else duck foot empty. Though that kind of feels weird to say. I guess if it's just greater than 0. Yeah. And then we say percentage minus equals 1, percentage equals max of 0 and percentage. So subtract off 1 and then clamp its lower bound to 0. Seems good to me. And then now to actually get the sprite here, we can just say up here, like this. And so that's our sprite, and then say sprite name. And we're assuming that these exist, and they do. Not sure if it's the best idea. I mean, unwrapping is fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's okay. I mean, realistically, we know from a perspective, like our perspective, that it's not gonna be an issue. So we can now just delete these. So we'll say that, and then I guess we can say const bars equals 10, and then actually gonna set that to like U size or something. Times bars, 0.bars, and I'm gonna have to probably cast that in a second. That's fine. And then now we can just draw the sprite. Oh, I do actually need the I, because I is representative of how many bars we have. So we're gonna say, so we'll say x start plus x distance, like that, and that should be fine. Let's try it. Maybe it works first try, maybe it crashes. Aha! Hey. Hey, you see that? You guys see that? I know you saw that. I know you saw that. And that should also be greater than or equal to 1. Wowza. Wowza. And then like the bars here, we can also just do 5. So that does what we want. That is doing what we want. Wowza. Now there probably should be some animation here. Definitely some animation should be done. But we do have this just working like it should be, which I think is very cool. And you can see the regeneration and wowza. Maybe even scale that up a little bit more. 0.75 or something. Maybe that looks nicer. It's a very small thing right now. Okay, let's try this again. It's a little bit better, bigger, I guess. We need more spacing, obviously. And actually, for the spacing, we can say that our distance is going to be. So our scale in this case is 0.75. So we're gonna say the width. Let's see, because if it's from the left hand. Is that from the left hand? I don't know if it's from the left hand side because there's 2 possibilities. I'm not sure at the moment. I think it renders from the top left, and if that's the case, if it's rendering from, I guess this would be your top left, we'd have to go the full width and then some more, and then render that again, full width and then some more. But I guess also in the same vein, full width would just work if we're from the center. But we know it's 64. We don't know the scale, so bar scale or something. We'll say 75. Bar sprite scale? Bar sprite scale. So that gives us that. And so now we say bar sprite scale. And plus half of that. Which I guess that kind of refactors to this simplifies. Hold on. So let's think of this. I guess it would just be 64. This would be 96 times the bar sprite scale. So it would be 64 plus 32. Because your full distance plus half the distance, and then times the scale. That might work. That might just work off the rip. I hope it does, because that's kind of nice to have. That'd be nice to like achieve just like first try. Which, I mean, maybe if we're lucky. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take off my sweatshirt because it's getting warm in here. Okay. All right. Sweatshirt just come off. A little bit cooler now. Okay, that's not correct actually. So I guess we can say like we can add a padding to it. So we can say 64 times the bar sprite scale plus 10 or something. So scale it and then add some kind of padding to it, right? Plus padding. Which would this have the sprite width? Let's see if this works. Yeah. There's some oddities with that. Oddly enough. If I just do this, what happens? I think they should be just, like right next to each other. No, not. Oh, I guess there is some kind of wiggle room between those. If necessary. I forgot that I did add little paddings on both sides. And then we also need to, for the y, we need to say minus 64 times bar sprite scale. Again, we're just taking the, which we can just say that the distance. No, we shouldn't say the distance. We should say maybe 2 times that. So 2 times the x distance or something. See, now we're actually thinking about calculations. Now we're thinking about how we want things centered mathematically. It's too tall. The answer for that one is too tall. If I subtract out the x distance, we tried that out already. It didn't work. So what if I did like 1.5 times that? Again, I think a layout system is in order. But I don't want to over-engineer that until I know exactly what I need for specifications. I guess I can just start at 10 or something now. Let's see. You know, not bad. And so if I just do this now, boom. Any little region. And we need to we obviously need to replace these sprites still, and there's lots of stuff we need to do from a technical perspective to get this into a nice state. But we sort of have the idea of the state anyway. So let me go ahead and get add this. Say get add com and say get commit feat add stamina bar. Now I need to maybe start pushing these assets, but my issue with pushing the assets is that I don't have the proper license for some of these assets, and I don't want to do that if I don't have that license. You know, it's not cool to do that. It's not cool to take someone's assets without proper licensing. I think if I just buy them, I just haven't been set. My issue with buying them is I just haven't been set on which ones I want, because if I don't use them, I shouldn't purchase them. Now for a testing thing, it's been nice. From a testing perspective, that's very nice. I kind of feel like 7's a nice number for this, by the way. Like 7 feels like a nice even number or odd number. And then he starts printing. Wowza. So that's part of that done. We're just gonna keep it for 5 for now, or maybe even keep it to 4 or something. So that's one of that's the stamina bar. And we can sort of abstract this later, like I've been mentioning, and we can do the same thing with the stealth bar. We haven't really drawn the stealth bar yet, but we can go back to our lib resprite and draw a basic one, I guess. Maybe that'd be the best thing to do. I mean, as you guys can see, it's a lot of inspiration from Minecraft, obviously. I mean, that seems pretty obvious. That one, which I think is not a bad thing. I think I need to do one thing before we continue. I need to move this to its own thing, and I need to scale these realistically, because otherwise it's just not going to be great. So we're gonna call this, let's say 512. So say 512, and then for this other half, I guess we can also say 512. And we're just gonna copy this over. And so what we can do here, we need to scale that as well. Tiling. Like that, and then we just need to scale that up, I guess. Oh. Can I scale that? I can, I think, because it's its own. It is its own. I thought it was Fortnite. What are you talking about, Willis? So here's this, and now we got Tylus. We can just. Boom. Oh! I thought my inspiration was Fortnite. Fascinating. I guess I can see that. I don't know. I was raised on Minecraft. Let's say inventory. Let's call it inventory, and then this would be in this case this would be like attributes or something, right? So save it as like attributes or something. And then we can actually just move this. So Get rid of that there. And move our stealth bar. Move our stealth bar up to top of this. I don't know what's halfway in between. I wish there was some kind of mechanism that could tell me, hey, like you're in the like. There's a thing in a lot of programs that it'll tell you when you're aligned, and this just doesn't say that. And it could realistically be a feature, and I just don't know about it realistically, which is fine. If anybody's aware of I think it does that. Hit my line. I would love that. Oh gosh. I suppose what I could do is just outline them in the middle. So if I like turn the stealth bar off for a second, I could just go 32 pixels deep and then make guidelines pretty much. So 1 pixel, and I guess I'd make them like an off-white or something. I guess that'd be fine. It's like grayish. So if I go to like brush, we're gonna have this line. If I can select the proper, there we go. So these are now. These are still 64 by 64 for some reason. Oh, also this is very crooked. I just realized that. There it goes. Odd. Okay. So now these are all 64 by 64. Oh, because it's attributes. Duh. It's gonna be 64 by 64. Where's the stealth bar at? I lost my stealth bar. Ruh-roh. I lost my stealth bar. That's not cool. There. We can get rid of the inventory. Stealth bar, we'll do this. What we'll do actually, we should apply the guidelines to this first, which I don't know if there's any better way to do this. Maybe other people know besides me. I just don't know the best way to do this. So it's 32, 32, 32, and 32. So that's our little baseline, and then we can just select this now and delete that. That does give us a middle point. So something, I suppose. I just thought maybe that Libre Sprite would have something like that, and it just doesn't seem to have that, which is okay, I guess. That might piss people off that that's not centered, but that's fine. I should do. I should have done, and I'm probably gonna do this now that I'm thinking about it. Just make a single layer called like do this, cut. Ooh, I put it on the wrong layer. That makes sense. Get out of here. Okay. So now what we'll do actually is we're going to make a guideline, and this guideline will just be like movable. So let me just go ahead and die this back to what it was before. Why is my G not working? Is it in tiling? Certainly it's not. What is happening? There it goes. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll make another, again, we'll make it, what's the most obvious standout color here? But that's not too much of a pain. I guess a blue would be nice. Say 32. Oopsie. Say 32. Oh, I still didn't make a new layer. Let me do that first. New layer, and we'll call this guideline or something, and we can move it around, just so that we can better. See. That, and then now we'll go ahead and take our like that. So now we have a guideline, and that'll allow us to just go ahead and take whatever stealth bar item we have right here and just center it as we want, like that. So, and then we can just, when we're done with that, we can just take our guideline and move it to the next one. I don't know if someone, I don't know if people do this, and I don't know if there's a better way to do it. I can imagine there's probably some way better way to do this, but this is my janky solution, and I hope you guys like it. Now take the guideline here, and we're gonna move one more over. And then take that. This is the most boring part of the stream, and I apologize. I think art can be fun. I think art can be really fun. It's just that I'm not talented like that. I'm not talented where it'd make a difference. So now let me go ahead and just put the guideline under this. All I have to do is just, there's a way to do this. I think I just have to grab the bar somewhere. Somewhere here I can grab this bar. There it is. And the stealth bar should be moved to the top. And the guideline should be moved in between these two. Like that. So now we can disable these guidelines and the tiling. And, oh. I would do that, wouldn't I? I really would do that. Okay. So we're going to just erase this by hand. Like that. Okay, cool. And file, now we're going to export. Oh, wait, they have an export sprite sheet thing. But I think that's like more of a, for animations, right? I don't think it matters. But we could also like that, like having that JSON data would let us load that and see where it is at any time. And that means that we don't have to worry about, like, if we repositioned it, we can just import the JSON file again, which is a good touch. So for now, we'll keep that in mind. But for now, we're just gonna do it this way. We're just gonna export it. I do have to, like, items are in their own files. I'll say that items are in their own files for for the reason of there's a really nice and cool way that I can implement stuff. Let me export this as a PNG, and I'm just gonna call this inventory. Yes. Oh no, I want to do the attributes first. Export PNG. I wish I could just default it to that. I'm not sure if I can. Maybe I can. I'll call it elements.png. Yes. Yes. Now I must disable my inventory drawing. Because I know we don't really care about that. We had like the good prototyping to see, hey, will this look nice there? And it looks fun. But we also have to make sure we scale things right. Oh. Wait, hold on. We did something bad. We didn't update our thing correctly. Oh, that just repeat that a million times. So now we have duck for empty, and so that'll be y is going to be 0. Y is 0. Okay. Not y. 0. And then 0. And that will fix, that should fix not seeing anything. But the quack is back, baby. The quack is back. Quack for revenge. It's 3:30. Wow. I am feeling the effects of the sleepy. I am feeling the effects. Now, you know, thinking about this though. I'm thinking about this, and I'm trying to decide, because there's this way using Jock. Jock has this really cool feature, which is what I'm using for items right now, where you can take individual items. It'll load each individual item, and then it'll take them all, pack them into a sprite sheet, and let you use it like usual. Alternatively, if we used LibreSprite, what we can do instead is export as a sprite sheet with a JSON file, and then use that JSON file to get our sprite info, which would be super cool, super nice. Now, the only issue is that we can't map metadata to that. I don't think. Maybe they have like something about the layer name, and if they had something about the layer name, we could maybe consider that. But get add dot get commit mchore refactor base realign based on new assets. Cool. Now, the last thing I think we'll do before. Oh wait, hold on. I didn't even switch to my terminal. I didn't even switch to that the entire time. I have been stuck on my LibreSprite. So the last thing we will do before we call it a night, because it's getting the sleepy tired is getting to me. It's for sure not been very fun. I've had a lot of fun making this and syncing everything up and actually getting UI rendered. I was kind of scared about how I was going to do that, but it's way easier than I thought from the perspective of like I don't have to nail a full layout system just to implement this. I can just kind of feel it out and then build a system around it if I feel like I need that, which is the optimal thing. But the last thing I'm going to do before I call it a night is I actually am going to go back to my LibreSprite, and I'm actually going to go to my inventory, and I'm going to resize these. And I hope that they maintain the scaling that I want them to, because if they don't, that would be very sad. That worked like a charm, actually. Now I just need to like, yeah, like that's, and then that'll make sure that this renders nicely and looks good when we. Like that. And no, we also need to move this a little bit over. Ooh, okay, there's a little bit of little bit of that's fine, right, guy? That's not fine. That does not look fine. 1, 2. Oh, I see the issue. I'll skip the song. I wonder if I just like rotated that. If I just like rotated that, it worked just similarly. It's not gonna be too much of an issue. It's M for marquee. Okay, let's do this. It's fine. Oh, I accidentally selected the wrong thing. Oopsie. Okay, so that's that. And we'll just enter this one a little bit. Like that. And then the last inventory up here, the actual base inventory should be fine if we just do this and then that. That should be good. So that gives us stats, and we will go ahead and export that as inventory.png. Oh, wait, it has resized. This entire time, I did not see this resize thing. I wonder if that scales it automatically. That'd have been nice to know. But we take those, I guess. Okay, let's go and export this again as PNG, and then we'll save that. Yes, I know that there's no layer support, yada yada this. But now we can say this, we can rename this to elements sprite sheet. Elements sprite sheet. Elements sprite sheet. Or yeah, that's fine. And then we'll load a second sprite sheet now. That's called like inventory sprite sheet or something. So inventory sprite sheet. And that'll be UI.inventory.png. And these are, I don't actually know the dimensions on these, because I know I'm still in my Liberty Sprite, so I'm just going to measure how big these are really quickly, which these are 128. So there's twice the size. So if I go back to my terminal and take you all with me, we can actually go ahead and remove this. And these should have the same, besides like we need to scale these up correctly, but like the actual, most of the dimensions aren't really gonna change. This will be like 128, and this will be 128, 128, 128, 128. And then we just need to update. Let me just do no, I can't do it. I think I can select, and then I can do a percent slash s slash, or percent s slash 64 slash 128. This is not correct. I thought I could just select the stuff and then go like percent 64 1 percent s 164. That's fine. That's fine. I hope you guys don't mind a little bit of manual labor here. It's like I don't. I feel like, not that I've like stopped, but I've been wanting to keep up with more advanced NVIM, like NeoVim stuff. I just haven't recently. And so when I say like catch up, I mean sort of in let's say 256, and that'd be 384. I mean like sort of like keep up, like by learning more, I guess. And we'll copy this. And I know it doesn't exist yet, but it will. It will, I promise you, sprite sheet. And we'll also call this undefined, because we know by the time the scene is rendered, we will have loaded these things in, is the assumption. That's like the big asterisk. Like that's the assumption. Like if there is maybe like an edge case sometime that if somehow like image file like file loading, it takes forever to load or something. Actually that's synchronous, so it shouldn't be an issue, but never know. Draw inventory. So let's go to this. I'll say UI sprite sheets. And actually don't need to scale it up as much anymore. I can just say 2.0, 2.0. A little bit smaller. And this we'll say 1.5. That y equals 1.5 or something. Oh, this is inventory. Sorry, my fault. So I will probably have to adjust this based off of how big the sprite is now, but yeah, I will. Good to know. So if I just like keep this at 1.0, and then that'll be consider 128 by 128. So I thought that would be fine sizing wise, but I guess I did scale it. So, let's see. Yeah, I guess that's what it should be technically. I don't know. There's like fidelity issues I'm like trying to think about. That's just not. That didn't do anything. I'm so sure that didn't do anything. They're not saving. Oh, maybe that's why it ran instantaneously. It didn't actually fully compile. There it goes. So I hate those edges, but we have refactored things and got them in the correct places. And draw inventory. So we'll say git add dot git commits m feat use inventory sprite sheets for inventory. So what have we learned today? We have learned that it is not that difficult to draw UI, and sort of we've got a few UI elements in place. We need to use that suggestion that Frogger gave us and do like bags, like for like stealth, do bags, which would be kind of cool. It's a very cool idea. Yeah, so that'd be something we will address in the next stream. But it is 3:41 a.m. I have class at noon, but I'm gonna get up by 10. As such, I need to get to bed. So I'm gonna call it wraps here. We've been streaming for roughly 2 hours and 15 minutes anyway, which is kind of my target time. I was kind of stream for raw all nighter. You shouldn't do those. Those are so bad for you. But hey, if you gotta do them, you gotta do them. I guess. I don't know. I I don't do all nighters. I only do all nighters for one class, and that's architecture. My theater architecture, the drafting for theater class. That's the only class I will ever do it all nighter for nowadays. You only have 33 logos. Oh, poor creature. Poor creature. I hope you can design some more. Was this like sort of like you were supposed to do it over the past few weeks and then you kind of like neglected it a little bit until now? Or was this more of like a, hey, this is sprung onto you as a recent project, like a very recent project, and it's on Tuesday? Yuck. Yuck. Actually yuck. And it's due to today. They gave you 2 days to draw. I don't know. I thought computer scientists had it hard. I'm learning lots of things. 9 a.m. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what I would do. Like, I thought the course load for my courses were awful. Like, at least they give me ample amounts of time to draw things. Or draw things, but do things. You get what I mean. Okie dokie, kiddos. I still have to do my walkthrough. Ooh, that's no fun. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you everybody for coming out to the stream. It's been a nice, cool one. Got lots of stuff done, art-wise. I will stream more tomorrow after my courses and after all my things, so we can get more work on this, because we do have roughly 18 days to get everything kind of polished what we want it to be, which is going to take a little bit of lots of love and maybe a few overnighters, like maybe like weekends or something.